ورحمة الله وبركاته. باب في الأمر بالمحافظة على السنة وآدابها. Today we are reading the verses from Quran and Sunnah under the title of how we are supposed to keep whatever amal we are doing to be constant and to regular way. It should be our way, for example, to practice it regularly. So he quoted some ayat. وَمَا آتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. What Rasul is giving to you, take it, and what he is asking to avoid, keep it away from you. Another ayah he quoted, وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. Rasulullah is not speaking with his own desire, but he is talking under the wahi, what is revealed to him. Third ayah he quoted, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ. If you really love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so show your love by following me and following Rasul. So Allah will love you and forgive your sin. The fourth ayah he quoted, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَالْيَوْمَ الْآخِرَ. Surely the way, if you follow the way of Rasulullah, so it is the only way which is Hasan, which is good. And it is good for the one who is expecting to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the day of Akhirah. The another ayah he quoted, فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ حَتَّى يُحَكِّمُوكَ فِيمَا شَجَرَ بَيْنَهُمْ ثُمَّ لَا يَجِدُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَرَجًا مِمَّا قَضَيْتَ وَيُسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا. By Allah, they will not be true believers till they go any dispute to you. And when you decide something, they have no any ill feeling in their heart, whatever you decided, and they surrender it completely. Another ayah, فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. If you have any kind of discussion and you disagree, you have a difference of opinion, so seek the guidance from Allah and His Messenger. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, another ayah said, وَمَن يُطِعِ الرَّسُولَ فَقَدْ أَطَاعَ اللَّهَ. The one who is following Rasul, he is following Allah. Another ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَلْيَحْذَرِ الَّذِينَ يُخَالِفُونَ عَنْ أَمْرِهِ أَن تُصِيبَهُمْ فِتْنَةٌ أَوْ يُصِيبَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. Those who are disobeying or not following what Rasul is asking them, so they must be mindful that Allah may put them in some severe punishment. And then the last ayah he quoted, وَاذْكُرْنَ مَا يُتْلَى فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ مِنْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ وَالْحِكْمَةِ. O wife of Rasulullah, whatever you heard from Rasul in your home, describe to others from the Quran and from the Hikmah. So Imam Nawawi is actually bringing these ayat for two reasons. First reason is that what is the importance of our deen, and if we are truly believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger and their revealed ahkam, so our connection with Allah will be through with Rasul. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is our middle person or medium between us and between Allah. It is first reason he quoted these ayat. So he's quoting that Rasul is saying something, so don't think that it is a human wording or it is not so, and you expect some bigger thing from Quran, then you will believe. You have to stick with it, even it is coming from the mouth of Rasul. And the Rasul position is that he, as a human, is a human. But as the Rasul, he never report anything which is out of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's order, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed guidance. And then he also warned that your iman will not be complete, that any dispute not means, for example, sometimes suppose what I cook, what I suppose wear, this is not the issue, but the issue is that what is right and what is wrong, what is halal and what is haram. So any kind of discussion happen, so you have to refer your case to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So in the time of Rasul, we can present him when he was alive. When he is not alive, his sunnah is still our reference, our point of seeking help from it. So first condition, you have to refer to him. Second condition is that whatever decision he make, you should surrender for it. You have no any kind of feeling. Sometimes it happens, you agree with someone, but not your heart is not accepting it. So sometimes you say, okay, it is okay, but you are not satisfied. But in the case of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it must be with total satisfaction, without any kind of, oh, maybe Rasul did this thing he didn't did justice with me, or he forget something, or so he took side of other. And third thing is that your surrender should be complete. So in the first thing, you have to seek help from a Rasul. Second, you have to listen to him. Third, you have to accept from him. And fourth thing, you never, for example, go to challenge it, or go to, just like suppose if I go to lower court, I don't agree, I go to higher court, and then I go to higher court, and so on. So Rasul is supposed to be my first and last point of reference. How it will happen? Of course, it will not happen easily, because when we are sitting in our time, maybe we have some reference coming from Quran or from Hadith, and maybe it is explained in 2 or 3 ways. Some fuqaha went this way, some fuqaha got other way. So then the seeking any opinion will be also following Rasul. But if there's something which is strictly said without any kind of double opinion or other way, so it means, for example, it should be only reference of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is the reason why you can see that when Quran said this thing, so the proof of this reference is our ulama of hadith. Hadith, those who carried the ilm of hadith in their memory, they documented it, they reviewed it, and they classified it, and they presented it in a very firm and very solid ground. So we have you cannot say, I have no reference from Quran or Hadith from this issue. I have no point of this issue. We are living in our time. It not means, for example, the guidance of Rasulullah was limited to his time. It is for every time. So in that sense, for example, it means, for example, we have to seek a real true knowledge, and we have to be, for example, our first thing, we must prepare willingly to accept what is coming from Rasul. Then we seek the knowledge, and then we go with whatever option we have under the Sunnah, then we can go with it. Other thing which is actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warning, that if you don't do this thing, there will be some kind of bad consequences of it. It is not the issue, it is not easy. I suppose someone is saying me something, I rejected him. So maybe there will be no any result for it. But the rejection of Rasul and his advice or his guidance is severe kind of warning point for any person. And this is the reason why some ulama say when we ignore hadith, so it is not only we are ignoring hadith, but actually we are showing our disrespect to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his sunnah. And then other thing will come in place of it. Maybe we replace it by some bid'ah, some kind of something which is not said by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it means the bid'ah will take place of sunnah when we are not caring about hadith or about sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So last thing he said to Rasulullah's wives that whatever you are hearing from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you have to quote it to others. You know, uh, any person, private life is private life. Even in Islam, and it's like, oh, something happening between husband and wife, they should not tell to others. But in the case of Rasulullah's wives, they were not only wives, but they were actually living with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in personal life, in private things, and everything happening with them, it should be reported to believers. So we can know how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was living at home, how he was dealing with wives, how he was saying to them whatever. So their duty was to, you can say, to expose themselves. Why? Because only this way can Ummah benefit from what happened there. So the hikmah word Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used for the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so Imam Shafi'i said hikmah means the sunnah. And hikmah, actually the word cover sunnah and other thing, but the source of hikmah is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Hakim. But the sunnah is giving us something which is maybe Quran said in brief. So hikmah is showing us two things, detail and practical way, how we do it. So in that sense, the point which is he titled that how we be punctual in our practice of sunnah. So he quoted these ayat to say that this is I am not just giving you something, but it is actually core of my faith and belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then he quoted hadith. It is reported by Bukhari and Muslim. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال دعوني ما تركتكم. What I am leaving, keep it as it is. Don't go beyond it. And what I am leaving, it is enough for you, sufficient for you. إنما أهلك من كان قبلكم كثرة سوالهم. The believers of previous Anbiya, why they lost? They have a, you can say, book. They have a life of prophet, they have everything. But why they lost? They raised many questions. وَاخْتِلَافُهُمْ عَلَى أَنْبِيَائِهِمْ. And then they disputed with their Anbiya. فَإِذَا نَهَيْتُكُمْ عَنْ شَيْءٍ فَاجْتَنِبُوهُ. So if I ask you something, so just stop to do it. وَإِذَا أَمَرْتُكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ بِأَمْرٍ فَأْتُوا مِنْهُ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. When I ask you to do something, do whatever capacity you have, whatever ability you have to do it, whatever your ability to do it. This is actually very important point, and we need to understand that sawal is not bad thing. Questioning is good. So a question means, for example, point is not clear, or something you have in your mind, so you want to ask question. So seeking knowledge through question is one of the source of ilm, right? As Abdullah ibn Abbas, he was asked, how you got so huge, quantity of ilm? He said, bilisanin sa'ulin. I was asking question. Everyone knowledgeable, I ask him a question. So knowledge is not thing. But the knowledge, the question means, suppose some person said something, so I want to create some kind of, diversion. I want to divert him. Or I want to raise some kind of objection. And my sawal is not to seek knowledge, but just to create a problem, create another issue. And this kind of sawal is actually making me two things. I am not respecting ilm. Second thing, I am not trying to learn what is benefiting me. So he said the Anbiya, they were given whatever knowledge. If the followers follow it as it is, they will be successful. But when they were given something, they ignore it. And they talk about something which is non-issue. And you can see it is mostly human nature. And suppose many times when you focus on one point, so person will move to other point. He said, what about this? Why? He just want to, for example, ignore this point. So sometimes the issue is that if the point is enough and it is satisfied, it is okay. Maybe you can ask next time other question, but it should not be a kind of argumental way, or in a point, winning the point. Or just like in our time, we say, you know what, I am just disputing for the sake of For example, keeping person in puzzle and so on. So it should not be, because it is a very severe issue. And when they differentiated, they differed with their Anbiya, they lost the real guidance also. So he said very brief. He said 2 points. When I ask you to abstain from something, to avoid something, just stop. This is very strange kind of guidance. In our, usual way, suppose someone say, okay, there is a danger after 500 meters. So, okay, then when I will reach there, then I will stop, right? But the guidance say, no, reduce your speed. Beware that you may fail. So, something which is prohibited, it should be avoided 100%. Just like, in our modern way, for example, drinking is allowed with little amount, right? Which is not, intoxicate you. Islam says what? Ma askara kasiruhu fa qaliluhu haram. Whatever intoxicating you at a big amount, even the lesser amount is haram. So the point of haram is not 25%, 50%, it is not percentage, it is 100%, right? But the point of amal, maybe we are not able to do 100%, right? It is very difficult. But our willingness is supposed to be, whatever I can do, I will try to do it. Just imagine, suppose a person say, okay, walk for that destination. Okay, I tried, but I reached to the 10%, 20%. Still I am rewardable. I will get reward, right? So in the sense of amal, doing something, whatever ability, it is accepted. But in the sense of haram, the standard is just to avoid it completely, totally. So he said that if you do this thing, you will be saved from the destination or destiny of the people, those who suffered in previous Anbiya. One another hadith reported that Irbad ibn Sariya reported, it is Tirmizi, and said it is a Sahih hadith. وعظنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم موعظة بليغة وجلت منها القلوب وزرفت منها العيون فقلنا يا رسول الله كأنها موعظة مودع فأوصنا قال أوصيكم بتقوى الله والسمع والطاعة. Irbad ibn Sariya said one time Rasulullah ﷺ did a very, very, hurt. For example, we were feeling the thing, for example, is coming to direct to our hearts. And our eyes were, for example, just like shedding the tears. And our heart was feeling very, and for example, fearing something. So we said, oh Rasulullah, it seems to us that you are delivering something just like you are leaving this dunya. It is your lost in a sermon for us. So do something which will help us to survive it after you. So he said, Awsikum bi taqwallah. First thing I advise you to be mindful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wassama wa ta'a. And make your strategy to stick with Islam, that you hear and follow and obey. In ta'ammara alaykum abdun habashiyun, even in your political system or your organizational system, someone who is not equal to your gender or your, for example, quality or something, even as a slave, you're supposed to same him. وَإِنَّهُ مَنْ يَعِشْ مِنْكُمْ فَسَيَرَى اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. If you live after me, you will see lot of differences, lot of divisions. فَعَلَيْكُمْ بِسُنَّتِي. Your safety point will be to follow my sunnah. وَسُنَّةُ الْخُلَفَاءِ الرَّاشِدِينَ الْمَهْدِيِّينَ. And my successors, those who are given rightly guided and rightly guided sunnah khulafa. عَضُّوا عَلَيْهَا بِالنَّوَاجِذ. Hold it with your teeth, just like strong with a way. وَإِيَّاكُمْ وَمُحْدَثَاتِ الْأُمُورِ. And beware to fail in something which is created later, which is innovated. فَإِنَّ كُلُّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ. Because every innovated thing is deviation. Hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying to us, "Usikum bi taqwallah." Be mindful to Allah subhanahu wa taala. This is the very belief way, for example, to feel that I am on the right path or not, I am doing good or not. What is the standard? How I can measure it? First measurement is your heart, right? A person can cheat 1,000 people, but nobody can cheat himself, right? So if I'm doing something good and people say, no, it is bad, are you satisfied with thing or not? You did something and you are satisfied. Whatever people say, it will not harm you. But if you are doing bad and people praising it, it will not make any change, right? So taqwa Allah means your own way to value yourself. It should be what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the measurement and how I am fulfill it. So taqwa is actually giving me a kind of, just like a standard, a scale. I can measure it. And this is most important thing in our human factor. So taqwa Allah, of course, it has a lot of external part, but the real part I'm saying, it should be a kind of, and just like suppose if you have a barometer and there's a change in heat or cold, right? And barometer is showing tiny change happen, it reflects. So heart is also giving this thing. So taqwa Allah is supposed to be your first priority with you. And this is the reason other way Rasulullah said, kullu shayin da' ma yuribuka illa ma yuribuk. Whatever you feel it is little bit not clear, so avoid it. Either these and the shubha, doubtful things and so on. So taqwa is the first thing we're supposed to be mindful about it. As taqwa, it also means other way that when I'm doing, so if I am following Islam as it is, it means, for example, I am mindful to my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am mindful that I will stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and I have to answer my things. So it is taqwa. وَالسَّمْعُ وَالطَّاعَةُ. And it is individual guidance, right? In the collective life, the system cannot work without a kind of, you can say, order. What is the order? There will be some person who will lead, the other person who will follow. So the relation between both of them supposed to be under listening and obeying. So from you can say the follower side, a person listening and obeying, the from side. But from the leader side, he must be leader to lead for the Islamic things, not to lead for his own wishes or in desires. So it is duty of both sides. From the leader side, the person is supposed to be careful about what is saying, right? What is coming from his mouth, what from practice. And from the people side, maybe sometime, what happened, is another hadith reported by the same Sahabi that بايعنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم على السمع والطاعة في العسر واليسر وفي we did bay'ah with Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم, agreed, even we are in a easy time or difficult time, we like it or don't like it, right? So in some time it happened that decision is good, but I sometimes feel not good about it. So, but I have to follow it because if you have an army, the commander said move, and one person no, I'm not going to move. So the order will not be, for example, good. But if you have any kind of dispute, you can raise it because Islam says, لا طاعة لمخلوق في معصية الخالق. If someone is saying something which is not Islamic, you can dispute with him. But when something it is under allowance, it is allowed. It is both way, this way or this way allowed, then you have to follow it. فَعَلَيْكُمْ بِسُنَّتِي. And then he said, the first thing you follow my sunnah, وَسُنَّةُ الْخُلَفَاء, and my khulafa, my successors. And this is a very important point we need to understand, because mostly the people, when they define sunnah, so they say sunnah means what Rasulullah said and what he did and what he approved. It is sunnah, it is the standard. But under the sunnah, also the sunnah which is coming from those who are the really guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they are following Islamic application of Islam, and they are successor of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So their sunnah will be also our sunnah. But what is different between both? The sunnah of Rasulullah is a way of initiating sunnah. He initiated something, right? The sunnah of khulafa, to implement it. It not means they will innovate. Rasulullah said, pray 4 rak'ah zuhr. The sunnah of khulafa is 5 rakat. It is not. But sometimes some kind of organizational type of application need, so when they apply it, it will be also a sunnah. So sunnah of khulafa means application of sunnah. Just like, the Ramadan is coming and we have always a dispute that how many rakat we pray in Taraweeh, right? So it is not the issue. The issue is not 2 rakat or 20 rakat or whatever. It is not the issue. But the issue is that some people say the sunnah is 8 rakat, right? And Abu Umar radiallahu anhu, he established 20 rakat. So the wording they use, they say the sunnah is 8 and what Umar is doing is not sunnah, right? So he's innovating. He's doing bid'ah. It is not. He organized the Taraweeh Salat, whatever number you agree with it. It's not the issue. But the issue is that the initial sunnah is coming from Rasulullah. He prayed extra salat in Ramadan. It is confirmed by him, right? Second thing is, he led people in Taraweeh. He led. But he led for three nights only, right? And he left it. Why? Because if he prayed together in whole night, it may be mandatory. So he left it. So proved of Taraweeh is coming from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What Umar radiallahu anhu did? He did 2 things. First thing, he organized the Taraweeh under one imam in masjid. So everyone pray behind it. Second thing is that he organized 20 rakat. Now the issue is not under haram and halal, right? So many Sahaba, they were praying Taraweeh in their home. Or they are praying, for example, at the time. So it is not the issue, but the issue is that the sunnah is covering, which is coming from Rasul and also coming from Khulafa when they agreed. Especially if they agreed with Sahaba, it is the highest. If not agreed, still it is reported as a source of explanation of sunnah. So, addu alayha bin nawajid, hold it with your teeth. And it is an Arabic way to say that be, for example, firm it. Don't, for example, allow to go here, zigzag and so on. And beware about anything which is created later, which is not. So bid'ah is actually, we need to understand that bid'ah, anything we can say bid'ah. It is not the issue. Bid'ah is not this way. Bid'ah means something which is innovated, in Arabic literal meaning. But as a term, bid'ah means 2 things. First thing, it has no any proof in Kitab and Sunnah. First thing. Second thing is, I do it with the intention of reward. Just like suppose, for example, I am sitting on carpet. It was not in time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? It was not. But if I am sitting it, that if I sit here, I will get 20 times reward. If I sit outside, then I will get 1 reward. It is not the issue, right? I am driving car. I am driving this kind model car, this kind. It is not the issue of reward. So I am not driving as a source of deen. It is a source of mean, right? So it is not bid'ah. Because some people come to confuse between these things. You say, okay, you are doing this thing, it is also bid'ah. Because Rasulullah was riding camel, so we are riding car, it is bid'ah. No, it is not bid'ah. It is bid'ah when I do it for the sake of reward. And it has no any proof from Quran Sunnah as its original position. Because Imam Malik especially, he is a very excellently covered this point. And one of the alims, his name is Imam Shatibi, he covered this area very fluently. There's some kind of, we call maslaha mursala. Maslaha mursala means something which is proved by Sharia, but not given the detail. Just like suppose seeking knowledge is a sunnah. Seeking knowledge is a part of deen, right? But seeking knowledge by personal way, by class, by different kind of levels, right? And dividing the, for example, education and suppose, for example, hours, it is something new. But it has a proof in sunnah, so whatever we are doing to serve this purpose, it will be sunnah also. So it calls sunnah mursala or maslaha mursala. So it is very different from bid'ah. And he wrote a book, Imam Shatibi, Al-I'tisam. It is in Arabic, to differentiate between bid'ah and between maslaha mursala. So we have to be mindful about it. So sometimes people jump to see everything bid'ah, right? And sometimes people are ignoring, no, it is okay because it is sunnah bid'ah hasana. So there is no any bid'ah hasana. It is not good or bad sunnah. Bid'ah will be bid'ah. But the bid'ah hasana will be only in linguistic meaning, not in term meaning. right? And sometimes it happens that just like suppose, for example, if you do something, just like suppose you organize salat time, right? And you announce for it, or you have just like now some kind of these new things to keep people updated. So you can say it is sunnah hasana, but it's not in the means of term, in the sense of way, for example, to explain something which is beneficial to others. So you have to be mindful about something which is created later, because every bid'ah is a source of deviation. And another hadith which is under this thing, من أطاعني فقد دخل الجنة ومن عصاني فقد أبى. Yeah, كل أمتي يدخلون الجنة إلا من أبى. Everyone will enter in Jannah, everyone except the one who refused me. He said, who will refuse you? He said, anyone who followed me, he is accepting me. Any person he is disobeying me, he is refusing me. This is actually a very important point. Sometimes we need to understand it, that in our whole human living, we have 1,000 kind of leadership, 1,000 kind of we follow them, right? Many leaders, political leaders, and army, and engineering, whatever. But the only person who has a approved model, approved authority, and his wording is either point of loss or point of benefit, is only Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What it means, for example, Allah subhanahu said, Rasulullah uswatun hasana. Uswa hasana means three things. Any model needs three things to be successful. First thing, this model must be approved, right? If you have some part you are buying for your car and it is certified, it means it is genuine, it is original, right? First thing. Second thing, for the model, it should be applicable for everyone. If I am a man and some women are doing something, I cannot follow everything from a woman. So it means, for example, her sunnah will not be my sunnah in many things. Same thing, opposite situation. I am a rich, poor person not be my model. I am poor, for example, rich will not be my model. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his model is applicable for every person, regardless his gender, regardless his position, regarding his ability, and so on. And third thing is that the model should be available for every part of life. If philosopher is my model, maybe in philosophy. A innovator, maybe, for example, a model for one field. Political leader may one field. But the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in every model, every issue, personal life, practical life, so on. So only model which is approved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Rasulullah. First thing. Second thing, his sunnah is for everyone. Third thing, his sunnah in everything in our life. This is the only personality of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam which is given as a standard by Rasulullah. So he said, Man ata'ani. If you are really believing me, you are following me, you are actually accepting me. So if I approve the standard, maybe I do something wrong, maybe I not apply it rightly, but still it is my connection with Rasulullah. It is one thing. But the opposite will be, suppose I put some other person model in comparison with Rasulullah, then I'm totally losing. And this is the real point of, you can say, loss, that I put my model is this leader. My model is so and so and so. In these days, we have a hero worship, right? Our hero is hero, and it means I will do everything for him. No, we should compare our hero with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If he is according to him, it is okay, right? It is not the issue. But the issue is he should not be just like parallel to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If I do this thing, I am in saving point. I am in successful point. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the way to stick with it and follow it. Jazakumullahu khairan.